Hi everyone, Jill Lancet, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Sydney, Australia. And how is everybody? Today is actually Anzac Day, which is a very special day for all Australians. It's to honour those that fought in wars and gave us the freedom and the lifestyle that we can enjoy today without fear. I went to a service yesterday. It was very moving. Yeah, it always brings me to tears. But enough about that. I just want to say, lest we forget, never ever forget. Okay, now business out of the way. Here is my online store. If you go there, up in this corner, you will see all the social media symbols. It will take you to my YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all of those things. Of course, you can buy any of the products that you see here today, and I would be grateful if you did purchase something. Thank you very much in advance. Here is my host code for this month. It finishes on the 30th, and as I said, today is the 25th. So yeah, 5 more days. Also 5 more days of the last chance products. So if you go to my online store, you will see a banner for the last chance products, and they are retiring products from our current annual catalogue. And that's this one here. We are getting a new one on May the 3rd. This one expires on May the 2nd. So a brand new catalogue coming. And you will see it on my inline store when it has been released. But up until that date, we're still using things from this catalogue. Some things will carry over, but the things that aren't carrying over are on that fantastic last chance products list. So we're also using some items from the January to June mini catalogue. Now these are coming out twice a year now, so you've got your one annual catalogue and then you've got 2 of these little mini catalogues. It's always exciting to see some of the new product. So the things that we're using today from here, I'm absolutely in love with this paper. It's called the New Horizons. At first I was a bit yeah, but yeah, once you see it in person, it's beautiful. So we're going to be using the paper, the stamp set. This is the collection, and you can buy everything that's shown here with just one item number, which is this number here. You can, of course, buy the items separately. If there is, always check if there is a die and a matching stamp set. Look for the bundle price. Okay. Oh, excuse me. You will save 10% if you buy them as a bundle. So that's what we're using from the mini catalogue. From the annual catalogue, we're using 2 items. We're using this beautiful Evening Evergreen Chevron weave ribbon. I hope that's not too glary. And some white baker's twine. So I'll give you the dimensions as we go along, but I just wanted to show you in real life this beautiful New Horizons paper. Now it's 6 by 6, so it's a really good size. You don't have to cut it all down and everything like that. It shows you the colours that it is matched with, so you don't have to think too hard about that. So they're all written there, and there are 48 sheets, and they're double-sided, so 48 sheets. So some of them are absolutely gorgeous, and they're this beautiful watercolour effect. Now if you've always loved the look of that but haven't quite been able to achieve it, let the paper do the talking for you. It's just gorgeous. And if you emboss it and give it some texture, it does actually look like watercolour paper. Now, I have done that. I think I put these up on my Facebook page the other day. This is a basic card. It's just flat. The only thing it has is these little gems. And here's the gorgeous chevron ribbon in the Evening Evergreen. And soft succulent, Evening Evergreen, and then this beautiful paper tells the story. The only things I've stamped are those two, the sentiment and the birds. This one doesn't even have a sentiment on it. This is what we call an easel card. We may well have a video with that. It stands up like that. It's fairly simple to make. The sentiment is now on the front, on the inside of the card, so that when it stands up, you get this beautiful full version of the beautiful scene that's been created. So they're two that I've made previously. Now I'm making it again along the same lines, and I'm going to cut the paper and just show you how I managed to do it. So here is the stamp set. It's called On the Horizon, and it's got some beautiful stamps in there and some really nice sentiments. Now these are the two pieces that I'm going to use today. I loved this pink. I'm not a pink person, but I just loved how this pink was accented in this piece here. And there's quite a few colours in here. I think that's Bumblebee. I think that's Calypso Coral. I think this might be Magenta Madness. One way to check is to have a look on here. Polished pink, I beg your pardon. Polished pink. We've got Evening Evergreen. There's some garden green in there, and also some soft succulent. So you can see those colours are all in there, so you could choose from any of them. I could have put plain cardstock behind them, but I wanted to pick up this beautiful reverse watercolor effect. So now these are 6 by 6, as I said, and our card is quarter of an A. It's half an A4. Half an A4. It's scored at 10.5 centimeters. Now that makes this side here 14.8 and a half. 14.85 centimeters. Now I'll show you where that is on the paper trimmer. I hope it's not too glary. I hope you can see. So it's going to be lengthwise. So I'm taking it off the top. So I'm putting my paper in this way, and I want to take it off the top. So I've got to put the top there. So I want to look here. 14. There's 14.5, 6, 7, 8 and a half. Now, when you start using these sort of millimeter, very small measurements, your eye actually becomes accustomed to seeing them. So once you start doing it a few times, you will get the hang of it. There's a little scrap. Now we could use that on the inside or on the envelope, but the paper is 6 by 6, so we're going to cut it in half at 3, but that actually means it's 7.6 centimeters. So there's our 3-inch mark, and there is 7.6. So we'll go to the 3-inch mark because it's in inches. I'm simply cutting that down the center. Now I've got these two beautiful pieces, and you can see where they match. So we'll just pop those aside. Now with this beautiful reverse side, I want to do the same thing. I want to cut that down to 14.85, and there's our measurement there. Again, we've got a very small offcut, and then I want to cut it down to 3. And you're saying, hang on a second, that's the same size as our first piece, but we're going to cut that down further to 1.5 inches. And there's the 1 inch, there's the 1/2 inch, and we're going to do a little bit of trickery. So you're going to get 2 cards out of your 2 sheets of designer series paper. So we've got these 3 pieces now, plus our evening evergreen. Now the evening evergreen is going to mat this with a very, very small mat. It's about 1.5 millimeters. So we're just going to have a little peek of that green just to break up the pink, okay? And the pink is going to go directly onto the card base, and I'm going to show you how we're going to put that together, okay? Hopefully. So here's our card base, using some of our Tombow Mono Multi liquid glue. Everything rhymes and is set to trip me up, honestly. I'm just calling it liquid glue from henceforth. And to get that right to the edge, I just pop it on loosely and then stand my card up and push that down. So I'm pushing it so that the edge of both the card and the DSP are on the table, on the desktop. And I'm going to do the same on this side. It's a shame sometimes to waste the design that's on the other side, but sometimes it has to be done. Okay, so doing the same thing, just popping that down, making both edges flat with the desktop, and there it is there. Now we're going to do some stamping before we assemble this, and I'm going to temporarily adhere this panel to the front of the card because I want to be able to stamp it and then take it off. So just a little bit of our Stamp and Seal. It's not the plus, it's just the ordinary one. And just a little bit here. Look, tiny little bit. And just a tiny bit down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the stickiness out, just using my fingers. And if you have sweaty palms, that's always a good spot too. Okay, so it's still sticky, but it's not going to permanently adhere that. So I want to center this up so I've got an equal distance between this side and that side. And then I'm going to temporarily just stick that down. I don't want to do it too hard. I just want to lightly put it down because we're going to do some stamping now, and it's going to overlap, and you'll see here that it overlaps. Okay, so the only ink colour we're using is the Evening Evergreen, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment first. Thinking of you. Thinking of you, I think, is a very generic sentiment, and it's an all-rounder. You know, thinking of you on your birthday, thinking of you during this difficult time, you know, for a sympathy card, or thinking of you because we haven't seen each other for so long. So yeah, it's really nice generic greeting that you can use. So I'm just inking that up with the Evening Evergreen. Now I'm going to probably get in the way here, and chances are this is going to be crooked because that's the way things happen around here. So just bear with me for a second while I try and get this straight. And I want to put it about 1/3 of the way down. I'm hoping that's about right. Looks okay to me. So just a little bit of light pressure, holding that down so that the ink absorbs into the paper. And there we go. Looks okay. Might be crooked, doesn't matter. Handmade. Now I'm just cleaning my stamps. This looks gross, but that's just stained, and it's our stamping chamois. Stamping chamois. Yep. And it's just got water on it, and it just cleans the stamps up beautifully. It's great for your skin too. It's no harsh chemicals. great for the stamps, great for everything, great for the environment. You name it, it's great for it. So I want to have a foreground, and so these beautiful reeds to me are going to make a beautiful foreground. And as you've probably already guessed, I'm going across onto the pink side. So when I have a stamp like this and it's the same stamp, I don't want it to look like I just stamped the same stamp. So I will tend to go towards this side. So you see that part, and then I will tend to go towards this side. It looks like it could be two separate stamps. So I'll just show you how I'm going to achieve that. So I want more so this side. Now I had to rearrange my camera this morning, and so I'm not sure quite where I am. So I hope I am in focus. So we want to stamp all the way across here, and we want to kind of go down a bit. We want that to kind of go off the scene a bit. Okay, so pressing down. Now don't forget, we've got a bit of a step there. We want the ink to actually connect, so I'm giving that a little bit of extra pressure on that side, and there we go. So it looks like it's continuing on. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and I'm going to hopefully get it around about the same height. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit off, it's a scene. So giving this part here a little bit of extra pressure because I want it to go across the two layers of designer paper. And there we go. Now you're thinking, oh yeah, I can see a bit of a gap. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. You just get ulcers if you worry. So I'm going to clean this one off as well. Just water. Now, this little tree scene here. Now I just want the trees. Okay, I don't want the hillside, the land, because there's already a hill there. So what I'm going to do is get a piece of post-it note. You can do this with sticky tape as well if you wish. I'm just covering up that bit of ground, so to speak. There we go. And I'm going to ink that up as normal. I'm going straight over the top of that post-it note because I'm going to take that off before I stamp it. And we've just inked up the trees. So I think we'll put the trees on this side and we'll have them going across both sides. Okay. Again, a little bit of pressure on this side here because it's going across the two layers. Got a bit of music happening here. I hope it's not too loud. The kids next door get a bit boisterous. And that's it. Now for the birds. And the birds are really lovely, I think. I don't know, there's something about birds that I really love. And there's a definite upside down to this. Now, I look at this little bird down the bottom here and this little bird up the top. If they're both got their wings up, it's up the right way. If you put it up this way, you can tell some of them look a bit like they're flying upside down. So just be aware of that. I mean, it probably wouldn't make any difference, but just check it out first before you actually do it on your project. Now, I'm going to have the birds going around the thinking of you. So I want to tuck them in. I'm just going to come in and have them tucked in like that. Bit of pressure there. I'm going to do this a couple of times. and depending on the placement, it should go around the greeting and off the page. Now you can see me just wiping that off there. Yeah, got a little bit excited, pressed a bit too hard. So the next lot of birds are going to go here like this. Just pressing that down, conscious of where those two layers are. That's lovely. I think that's lovely. I think I did 3 on the other card, but I think I'll just leave it at 2. So I'm really, really happy with that, considering earlier I dropped the stamp that had loads of ink on it and wrecked it. So yeah, really happy with that. So now I have got the Evening Evergreen Stamp and Blends. So anywhere where I think, like these trees here, anywhere where I think that could have stamped a little bit better, no worries. I'm just going to fill that in. Just do little dots. You won't even notice it. And we're actually putting a layer between this and the other background cardstock, so you'll see what I mean right now, because I'm going to do it right now. So this piece that we only temporarily stuck down, we can actually stick this now onto our piece of Evening Evergreen. And again, I'm going to use the liquid glue because, yeah, I like to be able to, you know, wriggle that around. Now, there's very, very, very small border here. As I said, it's about 1.5 millimeters. So just be aware of that. If you line it up at the top, just let that fall. Hopefully that's even. That looks pretty good to me. Okay. So when we pop this over here, the scene will actually continue on, and we've covered up those little bits of that haven't quite stamped as we would like them to be. But we're going to lift this up onto some Stampin' Dimensionals. But first of all, we're going to be using some ribbon. I'm using the ribbon and the twine, and it's just the white baker's twine. And I just felt it needed something. So before we put that together, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'm just going to put some of this across the back, and it's about 1/3 of the way up. Now, in design, there is a rule of thirds, that is just pleasing to the eye. So we're going to grab a length of this, about that much. Where are my scissors? There they are, sorry. And I'm just going to pop that across there like that. Around about there. So Stampin' Seal Plus is going to just catch that ribbon and just hold it secure. Now, the other thing I am going to do is just cut a little length of the green chevron ribbon, about that much. The checked window pane check ribbon, and the baker's twine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a little bow and have them all connected on the front. But I'm tucking them in at the back. I found this that it sat better if it came from the back. So I'm going to pop that through there, pop that through there. I've probably done this the hard way because why not? If there's a hard way, I seem to find it. So get it about where you want it. Now, I think I might actually put it on this side because the trees are on that side. I don't want to cover up the trees. So there we go. So what I did was I just put these pieces this way and got the twine this way. And I'm just going to create a knot and then pull it tight. But I'm going to hold this down while I'm pulling it so that they kind of cooperate. Right, see? Just like that. Then I'm going to tie another knot because I want them to stay put. This is tricky. You need an extra set of hands. And just pull that tight. And now I've got a double knot there. I can muck around with the bow. So there we go. Now you can decide how big or small you want that bow. I just wanted a little one. I just wanted a little peak of this baker's twine in a bow. There we go. And then you can trim these off accordingly. If you want that a bit smaller, you can adjust it as you're going along. So I'm going to actually spatter this panel with the same dark Evening Evergreen blend. I just want to do around the tree. Probably should have done this before I did that, but it's just that simple. Look, I'm just putting the lid against that and just flicking it, and you just get this beautiful little spatter effect. So that's that colour. Now the next colour is the Magenta Madness. Even though that's polished pink, I'm going, I think I did the light Magenta Madness actually, because that's this layer here. So I want to get some flecks on there. That's enough for me. Next layer is Calypso Coral. Sorry, I think I might have just bumped that. So I'm just going to give a bit of Calypso Coral love there. And then finally, because I don't have Bumblebee, I did dark Daffodil Delight across this yellow. And that's as simple as it is. Yeah, that's how simple it is. So this panel is done. You can actually pop a glue dot underneath there if you wish, which I will do because I don't want that going anywhere, and I'm going to adjust it in a minute. So I leave it on the paper. I leave it on the paper and just pop it underneath. I can see where I'm putting it, and I just give it a good press. Hopefully take the paper out and then pop it where I want it. I'm going to actually make that a bit smaller, I think. I think I've mentioned how useless these nails are on previous occasions, and they're not disappointing me because I can't pick this up. And I'm going to actually trim the ribbons as well. So I'm just going to trim that like that, trim that one like that, trim that one like that, and finely trim that one like that. Just gives it a bit of added interest. Now this is all going to be popped up onto some dimensionals and then onto the front of our card, and you'll see how that finished panel looks. So just a few of these. Now if this is going through the mail, I always like to put probably more than enough. And I'll pop one half over that ribbon just to make sure that that stays put. And I think I'll put 2 in the middle just for added support. Okay, now I've got to get all the backs off. That's where this little thing comes in handy. Honestly, I could be struggling with the back of these things for 10 minutes without this. And I just pop them straight into my little scrap bin that's on my desk here, because they get everywhere, and I'm not kidding, not even joking. So now we need to line up our stamped images, and I think because we kind of did it this way before, we'll just do it this way again. And just be careful. Lining that up. Don't stick it down yet until you've got it where you want it. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. And that's our little card. Now you can actually put some embellishments on those. I think these are new. They're coming out in the new catalogue that I can't show you. They're like opalized embellishments, and they are in the 2021 to 2023 in colour. So they're not in the new in colours, they're in the current in colours. So you can use the evening evergreen ones. They just catch the light like opals. They're beautiful. They're really, really lovely. So they're new. So yeah, you can put a couple of those on there if you wish. I will do, just to show you. This is the polished pink, so you could even use a pink one in the pink sky. Let's try that. We'll put a pink one in the pink sky. So we'll put a pink one there. Oh, we might even put one of these. I think this is meant to be pale papaya. But you know what? Today, it's bumblebee. And then we'll pop a large one, if I can pick it up. Pop a large one here, just to create some interest. And there you go. As I said, I just love these papers. They're just so beautiful. And I think the fact that that stamping goes off there just creates that little bit more interest. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Again, my online store will lead you to all of my social media. You can also purchase any of the items that you've seen here. You can't purchase these yet though, but they will be out when the new catalogue comes out in like, I don't know, 8 days or something. So yeah, you'll just have to wait for those ones. But everything else is available now. And if you haven't seen these papers, my gosh, you really need to see them because they're beautiful. They're so lovely in real life. I hope you've enjoyed that. I like to try and not make them too long. And I hope you get some crafting in because, you know, crafting's good for you. Happy endorphins fill your brain and your body. And who doesn't want to be happy these days? So I hope you enjoy that. I'm going off now to enjoy the rest of my Anzac Day. And don't forget, lest we forget, never ever forget. Thank you so much.